Hello boys and girls, in this video we are going to be learning about order of operations. Now this can be a little bit of a tricky concept, but if you remember a few key tools, you are going to be smooth sailing. You're going to do so well. Now with order of operations, we use this strategy when we have an equation something like this. 4 times 5 plus 3 minus 1. Well, there's a lot going on in here, and it can be a little bit confusing to know where to start, what to do first. That's where the order of operations comes in. It tells us the order that we do things so that we can get the correct answer. Now, a good way to think about the order of operations is, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay? Now, each of these words, or each of the first letter of these words, means something. And that's what these pictures are. Let me explain what I mean. For please, you want to remember the P for parentheses. Now, because that comes first, what that means is we want to do whatever is in parentheses first in our equation. Now, notice in this equation, it doesn't come first, it comes at the end. That doesn't matter. That's the first thing we need to do to find the correct answer, is figure out whatever's in the parentheses. Next comes E, excuse. Now with excuse, what the E stands for is called an exponent, and that looks something like this, 2 squared, or a number with a little number. Now we're not going to get too much into exponents right now, that's going to come later on, so we're not going to focus on that, but just know that the E for excuse means exponents, which is a number with a little number beside it. We'll get into that later though, okay? Next comes my, M. Multiplication, that's something we know. And D for dear, division, also something we know. Now the kind of cool thing that you need to remember is that multiplication and division can be switched around. Okay, which means is if we have an equation that has both multiplication and division in it, we can do whichever one comes first in the equation. Okay, so for example, this would come first because this is multiplication. Okay. Also, that's the same with A and S, addition and subtraction. Okay, so please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, which means our order of what we will do things in our equation is parentheses, exponents, multiplication or division, whichever one comes first, addition and subtraction, whichever one comes first. All right, so now let's try this out in our equation. Okay, so for example, we have 4 times 5 plus 3 minus 1. So let's go down our list. All right, so we have, please, parentheses. So that's the first thing we want to do in our equation, is what's in the parentheses. 3 minus 1. Well, I know 3 minus 1 is 2. Now, let's write out the rest of our equation underneath so we don't forget any of our parts. 4 times 5, we haven't done that yet, plus 2. Now let's go down. We don't have any exponents. We do have some multiplication we need to do. Okay, so 4 times 5 is, let's see, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 20. Now let's write out the rest of our equation so that we don't forget anything else that we need to do. All right, now we just finished our multiplication. Do we have any division? Nope, so we can skip that part. Do we have addition? Yeah, we do. Okay, 20 plus 2. I know that 20 plus 2 is 22. There's nothing else in our equation that needs to be done. There's no subtraction. So we know that our answer is 22. So this week, make sure you take your time and follow the steps in this order. If it helps, you can find another acronym instead of, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. If you want to come up with something else, that's totally fine. I'd love to see what you come up with. But it has to stay in this order for you to get the correct answer. So good luck and have fun this week with order of operations.